Hello everyone, it's Refresh, and I'm here to show you a battle between two Ixalan sealed decks versus the Defeat a God challenge deck from Journey into Nyx. For these games, we will be playing with the Harvester, which will let the sealed decks draw and discard a card each turn, as well as the Explorer, which will let them play an additional land on each of their turns, and the Vanquisher, which will give them an extra card to begin and increase their max hand size by 1. We will be playing against the Xenagos deck in normal difficulty first with 3 Rollicking Throngs, and then we will play again on difficult mode with 4. The red deck here is the Grixis deck, and over here in green is a Gruul deck. We'll go ahead and start with 8 cards for the Grixis deck. We have a Shipwreck Looter, a Fathom Fleet Firebrand, Dragon Skull Summon, Brazen Buccaneers, Island, Unfriendly Fire, Swamp, and Vanquish the Weak. We will go ahead and keep this hand because it has all 3 of our colors and some things to play. 8 cards for Gruul. We have a Frenzied Raptor, Spike-tailed Ceratops, Colossal Dreadmont Drover, the Mighty Mountain, Forest, Frenzied Raptor, and Mountain. I think this is also worth keeping because we have the Drover, things to play, and then endgame with Colossal Dreadmont. Let's go ahead with turn 1. We will play a Swamp, which will let us play the Dragon Skull Summit untapped. We'll go ahead and tap both and play the Fathom Fleet Firebrand, and then Gruul will play the Mountain and the Forest, and then tap both to play the Drover of the Mighty. That is the end of the turn for the Ixalan sealed decks. We'll go ahead and go to Xenagos. Xenagos will play the top 2 cards. The first being Impulsive Return. Return 2 cards named Ecstatic Piper from Xenagos' graveyard to the battlefield at the beginning of combat this turn. Impulsive Return deals damage to each player equal to the number of revelers on the battlefield. So we're going to be taking 3/6 damage at the beginning of combat this turn, as well as Dance of Flame. Whenever a reveler attacks, Dance of Flame deals 1 damage to each player. That enchantment is going to stick. We're going to be taking 6 damage this turn from the Rollicking Throngs, taking us down to 14. Now we will loot at the end of Xenagos' turn. Grixis draws a Stormfleet Pyromancer. Gruul draws a Wildgrowth Walker. We will discard the Shipwreck Looter over here, and we will discard a Colossal Dreadmont over here, because we really need to get up there first, and then we will go into our turns, untap, draw. Grixis draws a Deadeye Tormentor. Gruul draws a Mountain. We'll go ahead and play both mountains here, and we'll go ahead and play the island here. We need more land, unfortunately. We can cast a Vanquish the Weak, I guess. We'll play a Frenzied Raptor over here, making the Drover the Mighty a 3/3. We won't attack just yet. We'll tap the Drover the Mighty for green mana and the green mana to play a Wildgrowth Walker. So now that we have all of these guys set, and then on this side, we will attack one of the Rollicking Throngs with the Fathom Fleet Firebrand, and then we will pump the Fathom Fleet Firebrand to make it a 3/2 and kill the Rollicking Throng. Now we will pass to Xenagos. Xenagos will play the top 2 cards. Xenagos' Strike will deal 4 damage to each player. That's 8 damage, taking us down to 6. And then the second card is Impulsive Charge. At the beginning of combat this turn, all revelers gain haste and attack this combat if able. We have 2 revelers attacking. When they are attacking, we'll take 2 more damage to go to 4. We will block both of the revelers with the Wildgrowth Walker and the Frenzied Raptor. The Frenzied Raptor will kill one of the revelers, and that will be that. At the end of the turn, we'll go ahead and loot. Grixis draws a Siren Lookout. Gruul draws a Thrash of Raptors. We will discard the Frenzied Raptor on this side, and we will discard a Deadeye Tormentor on this side. And that will untap. We will draw. Grixis draws a Mountain. Gruul draws a Forest. We'll play the Forest, play the Mountain. We will attack the Rollicking Throng with the Frenzied Raptor to finish it off. And then on the second main phase, we will cast a Brazen Buccaneers for Grixis, revealing a Prosperous Pirates, which we will put into the graveyard, get the Buccaneers a counter, and then we will cast a Spike-tailed Ceratops here, and we will pass to Xenagos. Xenagos will play the top 2 cards, the first being Impulsive Return. Return 2 cards named Ecstatic Piper from Xenagos' graveyard to the battlefield. At the beginning of the turn, Impulsive Return deals damage equal to each player equal to the number of revelers on the battlefield. There are no Ecstatic Pipers in the battlefield, so nothing is returned, but we will still take damage equal to the number of revelers on the battlefield. Xenagos' scorn. Xenagos gains trample until end of turn and attacks this turn if able. Xenagos is going to attack. There are no revelers, so we're not going to take any additional damage, but because Xenagos is attacking, we can block him with the Spike-tailed Ceratops and the Fathom Fleet Firebrand, and they will kill Xenagos in combat, as well as dying themselves. But Xenagos has been removed from the battlefield, therefore the Ixalan sealed decks win. Congrats to them. We will be right back with Game 2 against a more difficult Xenagos. Game 2 against hard mode Xenagos means that there are 4 Rollicking Throngs on the battlefield. We have to remove all of them before Xenagos can be defeated. Let's go ahead and draw our 8 cards for the turn. Grixis draws a Mountain, Fancy's Blasting Cannons, Vanquish the Weak, Island, Stormfleet Aerialist, Deadeye Tormentor, and Island. I think this is worth trying. Gruul will draw 8. They draw a Forest, Pounce, Unfriendly Fire, Crash the Rampart, Forest, Stormfleet, Pyromancer, and Mountain. I also think that this is worth trying, even though we need more threats on both sides. Alright, turn 1 we will play the Island and the Mountain, and then we will pass. Gruul will play a Forest and a Mountain, and we'll also pass. We'll go to Xenagos. Xenagos will play the top 2 cards, the first being Impulsive Charge. At the beginning of combat this turn, all revelers will gain haste until end of turn and attack at this combat if able. And we'll also play an Ecstatic Piper that turns all the revelers into attackers, as well as Xenagos, because when Ecstatic Piper enters the battlefield, Xenagos is then attacks this turn if able. We're going to get hit for a lot. That is 12 damage this turn, taking us down to 8 health, and then we will loot at the end of the turn. Grixis will draw a Swamp, Gruul will draw a Mountain. We will discard Vance's Blasting Cannons, because that seems awfully slow, and we will discard a Crash the Ramparts, because that seems a bit on the slow side as well. And then we'll untap, we'll draw. We have a Island here, and a Blossom Dryad here. Let's play the Swamp and the Mountain, and then we will play 1, 2, 3, Vanquish the Weak, killing the Ecstatic Piper, which will gain us 4 life, go back up to 12. We will also play the Forest and the Mountain here, and the only card that we can play, the Blossom Dryad. Alright, we'll pass the turn to Xenagos. Xenagos will untap everything. We'll cast the top 2 cards, the first being Ecstatic Piper. Xenagos is attacking this turn. And then another Ecstatic Piper, Xenagos is attacking this turn. Xenagos goes on the attack. I think we have to take the hit. So we'll take the hit and go to 6, and then we will loot at the end of the turn. We have a Brazen Buccaneers here, which will be good, and a Cobbled Wings here, which we don't want. So we'll discard that. And then on this side, we will discard a Island here, and then we'll untap. Draw. Grixis draws an Unfriendly Fire. Gruul draws a Vance's Blasting Cannon. Go ahead and play a Forest, and we will play an Island. We'll play Brazen Buccaneers here, and we will explore. We get a Drowned Catacomb, which we will put into our hand. We'll go ahead and play that right away, and then come to the battlefield untapped because we have both islands and swamps. And then on this side, I think we just go on the attack. So we need to kill both of the Ecstatic Pipers to gain some life. Unfortunately, we don't really have any way of doing so without losing our creatures, but we'll just have to do it. Blossom Dryad and the Brazen Buccaneers will attack the Ecstatic Pipers and we'll trade for them. They both die. We gain 8 life to take us back up to 14. And then on the second main phase, we'll cast the Stormfleet Aerialist, which will come into the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter because we attacked off of raid. And then we will cast a Unfriendly Fire to kill a Rollicking Throng, because what else can we do? Alright, that is the end of that. We will pass to Xenagos. Xenagos will play untap himself and play the top 2 cards. First being Pharaoh's Band Revelers. When Pharaoh's Band Revelers leaves the battlefield, each player draws a card, as well as the Impulsive Return. Return 2 cards named Ecstatic Piper from the graveyard to the battlefield. And at the beginning of combat this turn, Impulsive Return deals damage to each player equal to the number of revelers on the battlefield. We return 2 to the battlefield. We'll take 6 at the beginning of combat to go to 8. Xenagos will attack. We will go ahead and take that as well to go to 2, and then we will pass the turn. We will loot at the end of the turn, getting us a Stormfleet Pyromancer on this side and a mountain on this side. We will discard the Vance's Blasting Cannons, which we have determined is too slow, and we will discard a Deadeye Tormentor, which is also just too weak. We'll untap. We'll draw. We have a mountain over here and a Frenzied Raptor over here. Grixis will attack a Ecstatic Piper with a Stormfleet Aerialist, killing it, getting us 4 life to go back up to 6, and then we'll play a Stormfleet Pyromancer, which will deal 2 damage off a raid to the last Ecstatic Piper to kill it and take us back up to 10. Gruul will play a Frenzied Raptor and will pass the turn. We'll go to Team Xenagos. Xenagos will untap. Xenagos will play the top 2 cards. The first being Impulsive Charge. At beginning of combat, all revelers gain haste this turn and attack if able. And then we'll also play a Rollicking Throng, which will come into the battlefield. And then we'll play another one, which is Wild Mayonnaise, which is a 3/1. Will be attacked by the Wild Mayonnaise, Rollicking Throng, Ferrous-Band Revelers, Rollicking Throng, Rollicking Throng, and Rollicking Throng. That is a lot of guys. We will block the Ferrous-Band Revelers with the Frenzied Raptor and a Rollicking Throng with the Stormfleet Pyromancer, and we'll take 4, 5, 6 damage to go to 4. The Frenzied Raptor will trade with the Ferrous-Band Revelers. We'll draw a card each, getting us a Vanquish the Weak and a Mountain. The Rollicking Throng will be eaten by the Stormfleet Pyromancer, and then we will loot at the end of the turn. Drawing a Mountain for Grixis and a Wild Growth Walker for Gruul. We'll go ahead and discard a mountain over here. We'll go ahead and discard a mountain over here. We'll untap. Draw. We get a Stormfleet Arsonist over here and a Brazen Buccaneers over here. We'll play this mountain and this mountain. We will play Wild Growth Walker, and then we'll play the Brazen Buccaneers. When it enters a battlefield, it has haste. When it enters a battlefield explorer, we see an Unfriendly Fire here. We'll go ahead and pitch the Unfriendly Fire. When we explore, the Wild Growth Walker will get a counter. We'll gain 3 life to go back up to 7. We will attack with Brazen Buccaneers and the Pyromancer into the 2 Rollicking Throngs. The 2 Rollicking Throngs will die. The second main, we will play the Stormfleet Arsonist. Off the raid trigger, if attacked with a creature this turn, target opponent sacrifices a permanent, we'll sacrifice the Wild Mayonnaise. And when we do, each player gains 3 life. We'll gain 6 life to go back up to 13. And I'm not feeling so precarious anymore. And then we will pass the turn to Xenagos. Xenagos will unattap the Rollicking Throng. We'll play the top card, which is Impulsive Charge. At beginning of combat this turn, all revelers gain haste until end of turn and attack this combat if able, as well as an Ecstatic Piper. Causes Ecstatic Piper, Rollicking Throng, and Xenagos to attack this turn. We will go ahead and block the Ecstatic Piper with the Wild Growth Walker, and the Rollicking Throng will be blocked by the Stormfleet Arsonist. We'll take 6 from Xenagos, taking us back down to 7. We'll kill the Rollicking Throng and the Ecstatic Piper. And then we will loot at the end of the turn, getting us a Burning Sun's Avatar and a Charging Monstrosaur. We'll discard the Vanquish the Weak, and we'll discard the Stormfleet Pyromancer. We'll untap. We'll draw. Grixis draws a Pirate's Cutlass. Gruul draws a Frenzied Raptor. We'll play the Pirate's Cutlass, attaching it. When Pirate's Cutlass enters the battlefield, attach it to a target pirate you control. We'll attach it to the Stormfleet Pyromancer, and then we can also play this. We'll play a Charging Monstrosaur, and then both will attack Xenagos, and Xenagos will be killed, killing the Stormfleet Pyromancer as well, and giving the Ixalan sealed decks a win. But that was a close turnaround. Let me know what you thought about the games in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. Hit subscribe if you'd like to see more such videos. Next up, I will be moving on to building some sealed decks for Rivals of Ixalan. But until then, this was Refresh. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.